There are many kinds of strategies in fighting games, but I have a real reverence for the dumb kind of strategies. Some of them are broken, some of them are terrible, some of them are just okay, but what they all have in common is that when you see them, they all make you think, man, that is so stupid. I've already done a video talking about some dumb strategies in fighting games, so if you haven't seen that, definitely go and check it out. But I felt like going over some more dumb strategies in fighting games, so without further ado, here are some kind of dumb strategies in fighting games. So for the first dumb strat, we're going to be looking at Xianghua in SoulCalibur 2. I thought we'd start off with SoulCalibur 2 again since we started off the last video of SoulCalibur 2. But we're going to be looking at a specific move with Xianghua, and she's generally considered the best move, the best character in the game. She has insanely fast moves, insanely high damaging combos. I'll show you how high damage this is. So yeah, like that just did an insane amount from a move that sidesteps. It's just like she's got the fastest moves, fastest movement speed generally, or some of the fastest movement speed in the game. Just generally all around a bullshit character. But we're not going to be looking at all of her other moves. We're going to be looking at a specific move that she has from a grounded state. Now, just to generally explain how knockdown situations work in SoulCalibur 2, the controls for getting off the ground and what you can do on the ground. By holding in any direction, you can move in that direction. So if I hold up, I'll be able to roll in this direction for a very long time. If I hold down, I'll move in this direction. If I press backwards, I'll move here. And if I press forwards, I'll do a forward roll. If I press block, I can get off the ground immediately like this. I can hold down the block button to keep blocking. I can do a while standing move off the ground as well. Or I could block and then do a move. And that's generally the controls for getting off the ground in this game, or whatever you can do on the ground in this game. And that does mean that your options are kind of limited. It does take a while for you to be able to start. See, there's like a little bit of a gap between the block animation and getting up off the ground. There is because of that gap, you can hit, as the, say for example, the Killick player, you can hit them on the ground, and it is a big part of this game, and fighting games in general, but especially 3D fighters like Tekken and SoulCalibur, where hitting them on the ground, you get them in a grounded state, like you knock them down like this or like that. You get them on the ground and you wake them up. You do something on the ground, you maybe hit them like this whilst they're on the ground, and you do stuff that's generally character specific to cover their options on the ground and take advantage of this grounded, vulnerable state. We call this Okizeme in fighting games generally, but Xianghua doesn't have to worry about all that, because she's not the only character to have a move specifically from grounded, but she has a specific move from grounded, which is A+B. This is called Crybaby. Now, this move, as you can see, it's incredibly fast, and the hitbox goes around her entire character. Literally, her entire hitbox, her entire hurtbox is covered by this move when she does it. And the hitbox is, wow. See how far Killick had to be for that move to not hit him? He has to be this far away from Killick. If he's literally one step closer to Xianghua, this will hit. This move. It avoids all highs, it avoids all mids, it's incredibly fast. Like, look at this. Like, look how fast this move is. It just immediately hits him. It's a low as well, so he has to low block this. And if he tries to low block it, because Xianghua has very good while standing moves. So if you try and low block this, you try and say get off the ground and do this, like you try and cover it by low blocking. She can just like wait you off the ground like this with a mid. And she has a specific mid, full crouch down forward full crouch down forward B, sorry, which is this, and she gets that. So losing 25% of your health for trying to block this situation when this is generally a situation where you are supposed to have the advantage. This is a knockdown situation. This is your Oki. So it's basically this move, and she can just spam it. You see how fast she can keep doing it in between? It's just, this move is so crazy. It basically, as soon as you do this move, it basically tells the opponent, you can't hit me on Oki. Your Oki does not exist. No matter what character you are, no matter what you do, this is not real. Your Oki is not real. I can just do this over and over, and it hits him. Wow. I didn't expect that last one to hit him. I was like genuinely like, he's out of range at this one. But, oh my god, this move is so fucking good. Jesus Christ. This character. She has all this stuff as well. She has all these stupid, like, sidestepping launches that are safe on block that are just so spammable. She has, like, the fastest moves in the game, and she also has this move that can just completely ignore Oki. This is so cheap. It's so stupid. This move, Crybaby is one of the best moves in this game. So instead of going on to the next strat right away, we're going to do something a little bit different this time around. We're going to rate the dumbness of these strategies in comparison to each other. We're going to use something that I like to call the dumb gauge. Now, on one end of the dumb gauge, we have 100% dumb gauge, which is basically the move is dumb because it's overpowered. It's really, really good, and people think it's dumb because it's like, oh my god, this is so broken. Why would you never, like, stop using this? Why would you just never not spam it? And on the other end of the dumb gauge, 0% is moves that are so bad, strategies that are so bad, that it's just, why would you ever use this? This is so stupid. Why is this in the game? Why does this move work like this? Why does it not work? And then in the middle, we have moves or strategies that are okay, but they're just dumb because they look stupid. This move looks stupid. She literally is crying on the ground and going, wah, wah, like this, with a massive hitbox. How? That hit. Oh my god, this move. So basically, for the dumb gauge, this move gets a 90% straight up on the dumb gauge. 90% full dumb gauge. Just the ability in this game, in a game where so many characters revolve around Oki to get their best situations, like Cervantes or Yoshimitsu, who's got really great Oki, or Nightmare. Just having this, like that shit, being so annoying. And just with the biggest hitbox on the planet, I can't get onto. Biggest hitbox on the planet. This is not going to hit. Okay, there we go. That one didn't hit. But just the fact, it's so dumb. Just 90% of the dumb gauge. There we go, straight up. We'll see if that is still the highest by the end of the video. But yeah, with that being said, let's move on to the next strat. So for our next strat, we're going to be looking at Tekken 8 Yoshimitsu. Now, this character is very good in this game, by all accounts. A lot of people seem to think this character is quite good. Very difficult, but very strong in this game, which is very unusual. I said in the last video that Yoshimitsu in Tekken isn't usually considered a very good character, but this game feels like the exception. This is an actual exception to the rule. And a big reason is a lot of his stances are just very good. Like, he's always known as being a very good stance character. His Dragonfly is really good in this game. His Kincho stance is really good in this game, 1+2. And he's just got insane damage, insanely good Okizeme, and we're actually going to be showing you an Okizeme thing today for our dumb strat, and that is with something from Kincho stance. Now, like I said, Kincho stance is 1+2, and he can do a bunch of moves during it. He can move forward, he can like just do that. He can move forward. He has a this move, which is a heat engager. There's also this. You can actually cancel certain moves into Kincho stance. You can do sidestep 4 into Kincho stance, and that can actually cancel into another 4. You can just press 4 during Kincho stance. So you can do like, and just, you know, just keep cancelling over and over. It is a high, but you can do that. And it's a very good stance. But the specific move we're going to be looking at from this is Kincho 2, 1+2. Now, this move is, it's a, like, in regular sword stance, it's pretty okay, because a big part about Yoshimitsu as well is that he has 2 stances. He has his regular sword stance when he has a sword out, and that he has a certain amount of moves in that. And then by pressing back 1+2 or holding back during certain moves, he can go into no sword stance, and that actually changes and gives him new moves. So for example, if I hold full crouch down forward 3 here, it doesn't do anything. It's just kind of the same as down 3. Like, this is down 3, or this, like, it's the same as full crouch down 3. But if I'm in no sword stance and do the same thing, it does that, and that's a launcher, and you get a combo. And also another thing no sword stance does is that it enhances certain moves. So for example, we can see here with up back 1+2, it just looks like a normal move in regular sword stance. In no sword stance, it's massive. The hitbox becomes drastically higher. It heals you when you hit it, and that is the thing with all no sword stance enhanced moves, is that they heal you a little bit when you land them, and this is very good. And one of the moves that gets enhanced by no sword stance is Kincho 2, 1+2, and it's very good. When you see, when you look at Kincho 2, 1+2, normally in regular sword stance, you can see that the 2 is -14, so very punishable. The 1+2 is minus 15. So generally the reason you'd use it is because even if you block the Kincho 2, if he commits to the 1+2, I can show you here by setting him to punish, even if he does a jab, even if the opponent does their fastest move generally, if you do the 1+2 afterwards, you will hit them. So it's basically something that you do to counter people jabbing, or trying to hit you, trying to punish this minus 14 move. You do that, and then that makes them want to block. Now, what happens if they carry on blocking? If they carry on blocking, you can actually charge the move. And that's a +2 move. That move was minus 15. That move was launch punishable when you didn't charge it. But if you charge it, it's now +2. So it kind of rewards you for making them block, trying to block the second hit, the second 1+2. So yeah, this is a pretty solid, not amazing string in regular sword stance, but it is like very usable, very, very good string, especially off of cancels. You can do like that, and use the delayed version as a mix-up. It's just like, you know, solid string. But in no sword stance, the properties of this move change. So first of all, it's -3. The second hit is -3 in no sword stance. Before it was launch punishable, now it's completely safe. And actually, it's so safe you can flash after it. Like, it's... If your timing is good, you'll be able to flash there, mix up, and you can sidestep as well, generally. But what happens if you hold down this move? Hold down the 1+2. In no sword stance, you get a guard break. Guard breaks in this game are quite rare. Not every character has a guard break, I believe. Only certain characters have guard breaks, and even when they do, they only have like 1 or 2. This is Yoshimitsu's only guard break, I believe, which is the Kincho stance version of the no sword stance version, sorry, of Kincho 2 1+2, the charged version. And when he hits it, it's +14, so I get a guaranteed back. What the hell? I get a guaranteed back 2-2 there, and it's a heat engage. So this is a very good way of getting the opponent into heat. Just doing this guard break. If they try and block anything, if they're trying to like wait for the second hit, and if you wait, he gets a heat engage. But there is actually a guaranteed way on Oki to land this guard break during certain combos. So for example, this one. That's guaranteed. There was nothing in that situation. If I do that specific combo, there is nothing the Nina can do to avoid getting hit there. And that combo is, so for off of down forward 2, that'll be down 2-2 back to put you in no sword stance, down forward 1, down 2-2 into Kincho stance 2 1+2 charge. And that is the combo. And if you do that, if you do this combo, the Kincho 2 1+2 is completely... Okay, I mistimed it there. That should not have happened. It's completely unavoidable. See, look, he did the exact same thing last time. I got hit because I mistimed it badly. If you time it properly, that'll hit him. So basically, like, it's just completely unavoidable. I could sit it for days and just set this to shuffle, set this to shuffle, make him do completely random things on wake up every single time, and that guard break would hit him, which is just so stupid. The fact that Yoshi can just launch you. And this also works in the corner as well. You can get someone against the wall and land this. Even landing the first hit, you can land this and just get a guaranteed guard break setup into half life, into a heat engage that could potentially lead you to die. And that is just so strong. It is a complete noob killer strat. Just completely allows you to win off of one launch. And you can even do sort of flash as well. If I land flash, I can do this same combo. I can do that, into that. And now he's got hit. And it's just so stupid. It's just the fact that he literally cannot escape from this guard break is so dumb. With that said, when putting it into the dumb gauge though, I'm going to have to give it a 60%. To be honest, it's only like okay. And the reason is that there actually is a decent amount of counterplay to this move. Now the counterplay itself is quite dumb, but the counterplay, all you have to do to avoid this is to basically do nothing. As soon as you get hit onto the ground with this move, actually let me set him to do that. Let me set him to literally do nothing on both. So if he gets knocked down, he gets put into this same situation. He just has to sit there and wait and take it. Just take the hit and you won't get put into this heat engage situation. You won't get launched, because if you get launched by the No Sword Sons version of Kincho 2 1+2, the charge version, you get launched like this into a combo. And that was a good amount of damage. And there are certain situations off the ground where if they do a specific option, you can land that and just get like a 90% damage combo. And obviously taking a 90% damage combo or getting put in a heat gauge situation is much worse than just getting hit with the second hit of that move and then just resetting to neutral. So pretty much every single time you see this combo, because it's only specific combos, like if you see this combo ever, it probably means he's going for this combo, and you should just wait, just sit on the ground, don't do anything, get hit by the move, and then alleviate it. So it is kind of a gimmicky thing. There are ways, I believe, to land it on people who know how to avoid it, but the fact that it is a mix-up situation, and it is like, it's not guaranteed. It's not just like even if you do nothing, you get launched or something like that. It's not a situation like that. It is very much a knowledge check in that way. But it's just so stupid. The fact that the counterplay, the optimal counterplay to this move, it's just go, all right, man, I know. I know what you're doing. I'm just going to sit here and take the hit. The fact that the counterplay is literally just get hit is so dumb. It's so silly. But yes, plugging it into the dumb gauge, it is definitely going to be a 60% because it does have a decent amount of counterplay. It's not like the end of the world. Like he is giving up some other Oki situations. Like he could go for this instead, like off of this. He could bait you somehow and go for something like this. And then whilst you're like, I can cancel into Kincho stance before he even lands on the ground and get a guaranteed mix on you, which is a much better situation. It's obviously not as guaranteed as that hit, but it gives you a lot more than just knowledge checking them with the Kincho 2 1+2 guard break, like on Oki situations. So yeah, 60% in the dumb gauge, definitely not as insane as people make it out to be. Hopefully don't remove it because it is kind of funny, and it is also useful, especially in the corner. But yeah, with that being said, let's move on to the next sum strat. So for our next strat, we're going to be talking about Burnout in Street Fighter 6. Now, to explain Burnout in the best way I can, I first have to explain the drive gauge in this game. And it's kind of like, if you've lived under a rock, then you will need that explanation, but most people know what it is. But I'll explain the basics of the drive gauge for you now if you don't know. So, shut up, Luke. So the drive gauge is the green bar at the top of the screen there. It has 6 bars on it. And it basically, you get it at the start of the round, every round. And it's like the main system mechanic of this game. It allows you to do like drive rush. It allows you to do parrying. It allows you to do powered up versions of your special moves, which are called EX moves or OD moves in this game. And it allows you to do things like drive impact, which is like the big like noob strat that everyone loves to do. It's basically like the main way of doing the powered up stuff in this game. And yeah, that's basically the basics of what the drive gauge does. And every time you use it, it goes down. Every option uses a certain amount of drive gauge, but what happens when I lose all my drive gauge? What happens when my drive gauge goes completely down? I go into Burnout. So what Burnout does is it basically just completely changes the game for you. So now the first thing that you can do... Shut up again. Bloody Luke interrupting me. The first thing that Burnout does is that you can no longer use any of your drive gauge stuff. So drive impact, drive parry, drive rush. Like if I try, I'm pressing the parry button right here. You can see medium punch plus medium kick. I'm just doing a medium kick. Like I can't do it. There's nothing. Like I can't do any of my drive gauge stuff. So all of the benefits of that are just completely out the window for the remainder of Burnout time. And you'll be in Burnout for about 15 to 20 seconds if you go into it. And that is just in itself a really big issue. But there's other things that Burnout does that are super detrimental to you. And to show that, I'm going to show a thing with Luke here. So I've set Luke to block all. So he's going to block every single attack that he does, that I do on him. And you can see right here, we've got the frame meter. The advantage says on my jab is -1. So that means that in this situation, I recover 1 frame before he does. So that's relative. That would be considered safe in this game. But what happens when I set Luke to have no drive gauge, to be in Burnout, and we do this exact same situation? It's now +3. So that means that when you're in Burnout, every single move that you block has +4 additional block stun frames. You're in stun for 4 frames longer than you usually are. And that means it makes this move that was previously very slightly minus for me, and he could take his turn back if he blocks it. It turns that move into a move where if he tries to do anything, he's just going to get jabbed again. He's just going to get hit by almost anything. So that means that your block pressure is absolutely insane. Like for example, this. That would be a frame trap now, because this is 6 frames. So if this has 3 frames of hit stun, of extra block stun, then that means that this move is now going to almost like come out faster than a jab for the opponent in this situation. Not exactly how it works, but it's basically how the situation plays out. So this is in itself a massive issue for you if you go into Burnout. But there's also other things that happen other than the fact that you can't do any of your drive gauge stuff, and the fact that you take extra block stun from everything. And that's the fact that special moves now do chip damage to you. So usually if you block a special move, if you see here, it doesn't do any damage to you. It does do damage to drive gauge, and that is a thing that happens. If you block any attack, you will take damage to drive gauge, which is a thing. So there's like a big part of like doing like stuff like that to drain your drive gauge with block strings. But if you're in Burnout, special moves will now do chip damage to you, and you can die from this chip damage. So not only do you take... This move is now safe also, by the way, at close range. Usually if you do this at this range, when they're not in Burnout, you'll get punished for this. But because it's -2, it's now completely safe. So basically what this means is that because you can't parry, so you can't frame, like, within 2 frames perfect parry something and then get a guaranteed combo from you, because like a thing in this game is that if you press parry when an attack hits you, right as an attack hits you, you will perfect parry it and you will be able to get a big combo on them or a guaranteed hit on them. A big part of this game. But in Burnout you can't do that. Because of the extra block stun, it means that the opponent gets things on you that they usually would not get on you. And because of the chip damage on block, it means that even if you were to block certain moves that are completely punishable, you still take damage from them and you can die from that damage. So those 3 things combined when you're in Burnout just completely change the game. It turns the game into what is normally a pretty fair game into the dumbest thing that could possibly happen to you. So I think I'm gonna go over some like strats, like from the lowest level of how to take advantage of Burnout to the highest level, like the most optimal ways to take advantage of Burnout. So first of all, a really low level strat, a really like easy strat to do at the lowest level that will always work against low level players, is that if you're a projectile character, and this takes advantage of 2 things. It takes advantage of the extra block stun you get in Burnout, and the fact that all your special moves do chip damage on Burnout. And that is the fact that if you are a projectile character, like say DJ here, why don't you just do this? Because the main way to beat projectiles, you can drive impact them, you don't have access to that, and parry them, you don't have access to that. and you take extra block stun from the projectiles, so you're going to get pushed back further. You're not going to be able to walk up, block, do the traditional way as easily, and you take chip damage from blocking them. So you don't want to block the projectiles anyway. So it feels like the only way for newer players to deal with this is to jump over it. And if you've played Street Fighter, doing projectiles into wait for them to jump into anti-air is a core fundamental of this game. And being able to basically streamline someone into committing to this playstyle is such a massive advantage that I'm not that good at this game. I'm like Platinum 2. This like Platinum's okay. It's not like amazing, but it's not like super bad. But like I don't have that like amazing of an understanding of this game or that amazing execution. But I have won games against people that were destroying me, but then they put themselves into Burnout, and all I did was, because I knew the mechanics of Burnout, I just did this. I just did this shit. See, bad execution. I just did this shit. And they just took so much damage from it, just blocking it, not realizing they're taking the damage, and they go, oh shit, I'm taking the damage. And then when they do, they jump, and then you hit this. And it's like, they can't do anything. They just basically lose. And then if, like, there's stuff like if you throw them, you can do that, and then that's almost a guaranteed, like, just guaranteed hits on them after throwing them. It's just, like, super insane, low-level strats. Like, this is something that you should be doing if you're getting into Street Fighter. Like, understanding the Burnout system is a massive part of this game. Now, the other thing that is a bit more higher level that Burnout allows you to do, and this takes advantage of the fact that special moves and supers, actually, I forgot to mention that, do chip damage on block now, and the fact that you take extra block stun, is using supers. See how much damage that did? That did like 1,000 damage. That's 10% of your life bar for blocking a level 3 super, and it's minus 24. So if you block that, you're gonna be able to get a guaranteed combo on them. But let's say they have under 1,000 health. Let's say that Luke here has 10% health. Like, what happens if we do this then? He dies. So even if he blocks this, even if he does what he's supposed to do against a level 3 super, he dies anyway if he's in Burnout. So it basically means that even if, like, if you're a really bad player, like mashing special moves that are really unsafe, and just like mashing things that are just going to get you killed, like supers and like just generally unsafe moves, like that's no longer an issue. If they are at a low enough health, you can just have full confidence that that's just going to kill them. It doesn't matter if they block it. So you end up seeing like even top level players doing stuff like, for example, Cammy just randomly doing a spiral arrow towards the opponent. Like a newbie as fuck spiral arrow towards the opponent to kill them because they know they're in Burnout. It's like it's a strat that's so good that it turns the game almost into looking like worse Street Fighter, like lower level Street Fighter, because it's optimal. It's like the best way to play it, and it's just very, very funny. Now, another thing that I forgot to mention about Burnout is that when you're not in Burnout and you take a drive impact at the wall, say you block a drive impact, I've set him to block here. If he blocks a drive impact at the wall, he gets wall splat like this, and you get a combo for this. This is pretty commonly known like thing. You'll just get like a big combo, and you're like, yeah. I'll show you. Like DJ would get something like that, and it would be a pretty big combo. If he has level 3 super, he'll be able to do something like that, and that's pretty good for him if he gets a drive impact to the wall. But if you get a drive impact to the wall and they block it when they're in Burnout, it's basically the same thing but a million times better. They get a massive stun, because usually if they were to block a drive impact, they would get a stun that is like very limited. The combo you're supposed to do is very specific, but this stun you can do whatever you want. So this might take a few tries. And yeah, you get that. You get something like that. Now, I did require a lot of drive gauge, and it's going to do a lot less damage than the combo usually does. Usually the combo does about 6,000 damage. When you don't get that, it does have combo scaling when you get a combo like that in Burnout on someone who's been driving back to the wall in Burnout, but that is an example of just like significantly more damage than you would normally get on a regular drive impact wall splat. But because of the fact that you take extra block stun from moves, and the fact that a feature of Drive Rush is that it also gives you an additional +4 frames of block stun, even in regular state. So for example, if I do this move, it's +2 normally, but if I do it out of Drive Rush, it's +6. So if I was to do this when he was in Burnout, it's now +10. So that's +4 from the Burnout and +4 from the Drive Rush. So that is like 8 frames of stun. So if I was to do something like this, that is uninterruptible. That whole sequence right there is uninterruptible, and I can show you this by having the CPU try and do a crouching light punch. This is Luke's fastest move, I believe. So if I set him to be over here, that was uninterruptible. He couldn't even get he was still blocking. He couldn't even get the punch out. So that is completely uninterruptible. Apart from a very specific situation, which I'll explain later. But because they can't do any OD rising uppercut, they can't do any invincible reversals, they can't drive parry, they've got extra block stun. That, against every character, this is a guaranteed block string. If DJ drive rushes, if you're in the corner, you're in Burnout, and DJ drive rushes towards you, and does it, and does this, and lands it, you block it, you're dead. You're just completely dead, and he gets the combo again that he would get normally. So that is a higher level strat that you see a lot. Every character has something like this. Every character has some sort of drive rush into drive impact string in the corner that allows them to get some sort of guaranteed drive impact wall splat, which is very funny. The fact that the corner is so dangerous in the game because of things like throw loops and like all stuff like that. But then when you're in the corner, you could be taking throw loops, but now since you're blocking, it's just like, yeah, you just like the fact that you're in Burnout and you just like take so much more in the corner when you previously already took a lot is very funny. The highest level thing, and this is going to be somewhat difficult and a bit difficult to explain, and actually requires me to explain some sort of counterplay. It's a thing called Burnout loops. Now, this takes advantage of pretty much every single aspect of the Burnout's advantage. It takes advantage of the fact that you don't have access to any of your drive gauge options. It takes advantage of the fact, especially, of the fact that you take extra block stun from moves, and it takes advantage of the fact that you take chip damage from special moves, in most cases. So, there are certain characters, or actually I'd say almost every character, that if you block a certain series of moves in Burnout, it's very difficult to almost impossible to get out of the sequence. So for example, in the corner, hold on, you do have to time it a little bit, but I will just counter hit, like guaranteed I will counter hit Luke every single time if I'm fast enough. See that? And because I can hold back during this, and you want to know what DJ gets when he holds back? He gets that move. That's one of his charge moves because he's a charge character. And I can hold back during both of these moves. So if I time it correctly, see that? Hold on. There is a sort of a timing to it. See, he's trying to jab during all of that and he can't do anything. He's completely stuck. And if you get that timing down, it's a bit difficult, but if you get that timing down, that is just, in the corner, that is a completely true block string that just keeps going forever. Another example of a block string, of a true Burnout block string in Burnout is with Cammy. And that is simply just doing that. That is completely uninterruptible. I've set him to jab, do his fastest move there, and he couldn't even get the jab out. This is heavy punch into light spin knuckle. That is a completely true Burnout string. And I believe the extension for it, if you land it, is this. But you can see that... Oh, wait. Hold on. Wow, that's funny. Okay, you can't like do that into this. What? You can? Oh my god. Okay, this is that's pretty funny. So basically, if she lands that on you, like, it's almost like a mix-up where if you take more damage, she's gonna hit confirm it into like a big combo. So you basically just have to sit here, and instead of doing this crouching light punch that Luke is doing, it's just take it. Like, it's just like, take this shit. Now you can see here that they can jab you in between the light spin knuckle. If I try to just do jab into spin knuckle at point blank range, it won't work. And I can't do this into that, this into this move, as in crouching light punch into heavy punch. I can't do that. So there is a bit of a mix up in this one where you can just jab in between this, because usually you do like, not that, you do this into this, and then you get with that, and then you get with like and then you like counter him with that, and then like you do that, you crouching jab the in between. But the thing is, right, is that if you do that, like, if your opponent is so sure that your only option, because that's basically your only option if you don't have a specific thing I'm going to talk about in a minute, your only option is to crouching jab. So if your opponent knows that, you can just do stuff like that. Like, you can, that's not the exact block string. I'm not a Kami player. I don't know the exact block string, but I have seen stuff like that happening from Kami players. Like, there are more consistent strats against that. There are ways to jab her out of it, but it's a complete mix-up. It's a complete situation where if you do that, it's like your only one option. So it basically becomes a 50-50. You put them in a 50-50 from anywhere on the screen. If they block this move, if they just block this move once, and it's a very good move, 8 frames, very good reach. If they block that move once, they're put into this 50-50 that can seemingly last forever. And to further prove the point that this is not just some like low-level strat, this is a tournament match. It doesn't have many views, but it's a tournament match from a few months ago, March 12th, at UFA 2023, a big European tournament between Luffy, who I think is the best Manon in Europe, versus Kusanagi, who's a very, very strong French Luke player. This is game 2, I believe, game 4. Yeah, this is game 4 of the set. Just began. You can see here, he does that. And he's very low on drive gauge right here, and he puts himself into Burnout immediately. And just to show that these Burnout strings are not something that is... it's not something that only low-level players get hit by. It's not some... And he's dead. It's a plus. So yeah, that last clip basically showed all the things combined. It showed the drive impact in the corner for the guaranteed combo. It showed the stupid block strings. It showed like with like medium, I think that's medium punch from Manon, and showed the mix-ups out of it and how Luffy dealt with Kusanagi, a top-level Luke player, one of the best Luke players in Europe, trying to get out of this situation and just failing every single time. It's just the power of this situation, how dumb it looks, just spamming one move and it works. It's amazing. So, plugging this into the dumb gauge, I'm going to give it a 70%. It is very dumb, it is very stupid, but it is a core part of this game, and there is some counterplay to it. So, for example, I'm going to show you with the DJ example I showed earlier of DJ doing the drive impact in the corner against Luke. So as I showed before, this is a true block string, kind of. Now technically they can't jab out of this. If I set him to jab, he's actually set to jab. He was already set. He jabbed there, he couldn't get out of it. But if he has super, no, I think it's a razor. Oh, here it is. So if I set him to do his level 2 super, if you have super gauge, you can actually get out of this. Now, the reason why you can get out of this. The super has complete invincibility. It's actually your only option in Burnout that has complete invincibility. So if you don't have any super gauge at all, or if you don't have enough super gauge to do your invincible super, because some characters like DJ, for example, only gets his invincible super once he gets to level 2. Some characters get it when they get their level 1. Some characters get it like only when they get to level 2. But basically, if you don't have enough super gauge to have access to your invincible reversal, things like this are true combos, are true block strings. But if you do have super, an invincible super available, you can do something like that. You can super out of not just that, but the block strings as well. So if I was to do something like this, like I jabbed here to try and extend the block string, and he just supered me out of it. So basically, this is like the one thing that you have access to. There's a very strong option to deal with it, to deal with people using these obnoxious, seemingly random block strings in Burnout and drive impacts in the corner in Burnout, is just to super through them. But the thing is that it is a super, so if I do think that he's going to try and like super out, I can just like, instead of say, for example, going for the full combo here, I can just like, and then, you know, well, I fucked up the combo, but you get the idea. Like, just punish them for doing that, and you can easily do that. You can do that in this block string here. I could just like do, hold on, I could just like do that through this first part of the block string, and then just not continue it, and then oh, I was not even rage there, but you get the idea. You can just like bait the super, and that makes it a very risky option, and it still makes these Burnout strings very strong, but it is an option that you do have against Burnout. You're not completely useless, but because that's like basically the only thing you have access to, or almost the only strong option you have access to, and it's very risky, it's just kind of dumb. Like the fact that you can just sort of like belligerently do certain moves on block that you couldn't do before, kill them with Burnout, chip damage in Burnout, just spam projectiles at low level, and just like almost act like it's Street Fighter 2. It's just completely silly, like in a modern game, but it is a core part of the game. It's dumb in the sense that it makes you feel dumb because you know it's your fault. The reason why you're in Burnout is your fault, because the only reason you'd be in Burnout is if you used up all your drive gauge stuff. Is if you were just too risky with your drive gauge usage. A big part of this game is managing not only your drive gauge, but managing your opponents. And that is the most interesting part about this game. There's so many high-level strats of people doing things to manage drive gauge, not only for themselves, but the opponent's drive gauge, and trying to optimize Burnout strings that will like do stuff like that and like take away as much drive gauge as possible. And it is a massive fundamental thing of this game that's taken a long time to figure out, and we're still going to figure out. There's still going to be things that are in this game that are ridiculous that we haven't figured out, to do with Burnout, to do with putting people into Burnout in optimal situations. And that is an interesting part about this game. I know some people don't really like the idea of Burnout. They think that maybe it lasts too long, or maybe they're in a bit of a too bad of a situation. But the core concept of you taking too much risk and putting yourself in a bad position overall, basically taking it so you could be destroying someone the entire match, not getting hit a single time, got them to one hit to die, but then because you put yourself into Burnout, you could just lose because you put yourself in such a bad position. That is a core fundamental part of this game, and it is one of the greatest parts of this game. Maybe it does need to get tuned a little bit, but it is a great part of this game. And it's the idea of a dumb strat that is not just like dumb, like, oh, it should be gone, or oh, it's too overpowered or too underpowered, it shouldn't be in the game. No, this is a really cool, but still really funny, silly part of the game. So, yeah. With that said, let's move on to the next dumb strat. So for our next strat, we're going to be looking at Virtua Fighter 3. This is going to be a bit of a shorter one, but this game is very interesting. It came out in 1996. This is the Dreamcast version, but the arcade version looks just as good as this. That's pretty crazy. 1996, this game came out. Same year as Mario 64, for those who want a frame of reference. But yeah, this is the first Virtua Fighter to have 3D sidestepping, although it's on a button, you might be able to hear me press that. It's the first Virtua Fighter to have walls instead of just ring outs. You can see over there is a wall over there, and you can hit people against that wall. And it is the first to do a lot in the Virtua Fighter series. And You may notice something about this stage. It looks pretty normal. This stage is pretty normal. It's like, you know, pretty standard Virtua Fighter stage, just completely flat. What you'd expect from Virtua Fighter today. But it's not like the gold standard for every single stage in the game. So if we go to character select here, we select characters again, and then we look at another stage. So say for example, this is the stage we were just on, this one. But if we go to the very next stage that was just there.
Fight! Ready, go!
We can see right here that this stage is, we're on a slant. So this stage, the stages in this game are not only known for introducing walls to Virtua Fighter, it's known for being the only Virtua Fighter game to have variable stage environments. So stages that aren't just completely flat. It's very similar to Tekken 4. Tekken 4 took inspiration from this game, where not only are stages just completely flat, there are some stages that are just completely on a slant, like this one.
Fight! Ready, go!
Or there are certain stages where there are actually stairs on the stage, and you can walk up the stairs. So if I go, for example, I can go up here. I'm walking up the stage right now. I'm walking up the stairs. And you can go, there's inverse kinematics, which is very impressive. You can see there, his feet actually go on the stairs, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, you can like walk up and down the stairs and like, you know, it's like an actual environment. And not only do the stage shapes change and the actual slant level, the elevation level of the stages, but also the size of the stages change. These three stages, that I've showed are all pretty similar in size. But then you get stages like this one, which are just a random island in the middle of nowhere, and it's much, much smaller. Like, yeah, I can backdash this way, all the way to this side of the stage, and it's maybe lengthwise it's a little bit smaller than the other stage we've shown, but the other way, like if we look on the other way, it's much, much shorter. Like I can just get them. Why is that not working? Usually that knocks down. I don't actually know the specifics of a lot of this game, but you can see it's very easy to get someone to the position where I can just ring them out and they drown. So you may be wondering why I'm showing you stuff like this. Like, why am I showing you all of these variable stage environments where there's just insane levels of stage elevation changes? And that's because there are actually quite a few strats in this game that are very stage dependent. So for example, if I was to be at this height on this stage in this specific area, if we were at a level playing field, this move would probably hit him. Like, I'm just saying, like this move, like stuff like this where you're on a different elevation level and therefore your moves don't hit. It doesn't track them with kicks, but with punches. You can see his punch actually goes down a little bit, like he's punching downwards. So I don't know why punches have this element of tracking, like not just sideways, but also tracking upwards and downwards. I'm not sure why that's the case, but instead of kicks also doing that. But you can see if we're about the same distance on a more level playing field, maybe like there, on a more level playing field, that would hit him. But if you are in a position like this, it's like, come on. Like, that would hit him. If we were this close, this would work. Like, if we were this close but on the same elevation level, this move would hit him. And generally, I've been trying this, and generally the game is pretty consistent at making sure moves actually hit you, even on different elevation levels. They did take into account that factor, but there are just some areas where stuff like this would not be. Let's say I move slightly over here, and then I move, say, like here. That's about as close, like the same. God, this looks so strange. The same distance we were from the opponent, and it still does not really hit. So it's kind of like the inconsistency of this. Even if the game does do a pretty good job of trying to make sure moves track vertically pretty well, the fact that there are situations where it just doesn't, and you could just be in a completely specific spot on the stage and your moves just don't work, even though it would work everywhere else on the stage, it's just something that a lot of people don't really want to deal with. And that's like the dumbness of this game. You can just sort of like, you know, be on a random part of the stage and then you just like, your kick goes over their head. But there are other strats in this game that are more like much more deliberate strategies in this game. You see, I've picked Lion here, very specifically. I don't actually know how to do this. There is a specific way of doing like a zip dashing thing with Lion, where you can just like zip backwards. But that's just, and it's like super fast. I'll try and find footage of it. But specifically on this stage, if you see, if I backdash, like I'm backdashing so far that it's pushing him up towards me. Like usually I wouldn't get this far backwards from the opponent, but I'm just backdashing, and the stage is going on forever. Like this stage is basically this game's equivalent of an infinite stage in Tekken, but with different elevation levels. So basically, there are certain strats in this game that don't exist in any other Virtua Fighter game, where if you are, like, if you have the life lead, you can just run away. You can just run away on stages like this, and just completely take advantage of the fact that you have a life lead and just, you don't need to approach them. Which is just so funny, and like the fact that Virtua Fighter has never had this except for in this game, to this degree, where you just like take advantage of an infinite stage and backdash away constantly on this bloody desert stage. That's just pretty funny. And stuff like this makes this game very divisive. Like this, the fact that this game has these kind of variable stage environments is a big part of like the divisiveness of this game specifically. It has a pretty big audience in Japan from what I know, but outside of Japan it's not really seen as that great of a game. It's seen as like almost like Tekken 4. It's very like you either love it or you don't kind of thing. Like it's not really like considered like a very competitively integral game in the Virtua Fighter series because of these variable stage environments. They're very controversial. I think they're pretty cool, to be honest. Obviously to this degree maybe not, but like maybe we could bring some of this back with more like interesting stage shapes and more interesting layouts for stages rather than just like completely flat ground. But this has had an effect on the the competitive scene for this game that still exists to this day. So you can see here I'm looking at a video from 1997. This is I believe a video from a Japanese tournament of this game from all the way back when it was around. And you can see here that the players are actually playing on a good degree of stages. You see this stage here, we got like literally 3 different stages within the first few minutes. It's like all of them different stages. Like every single different stage you see in the game. You see this one with the levitating platforms and stuff like that. You see like this stage we were on earlier with the like elevated like stairs and stuff like that. This kind of like temple grounds area. You can see this subway area. So back in the day, people did play on all the stages pretty universally. There was no sort of like, you can see the desert stage here, and people did play on all of the stages. But as you go more into recent stuff, you start to see more uniform stage picks. You see we had like 2 stages in a row where it was this stage, the flattest stage in the game, the most neutral stage. And then we got this stage, which is also a flat stage. You can see here there's almost no elevation in the stage. We go back to this stage again. We go to this stage, which is not, wait, is that, I think that might be the intro. That is the intro. And then we go back to this stage again. So that was just the intro to the game. That was not even them playing. But when they play, they go back to this stage. So you can see that, like, and we go back to another flatter stage. So it seems that in the years since this game has been played competitively, people have figured out strats that have like ruined the game, specifically to do with the stages. Maybe not ruined the game, but completely to do with the stages of stuff that is just like that they don't want to deal with. They've narrowed down the stages almost like it's a Smash game, where they've narrowed down the stages to only certain stages because they don't want to play on the other stages that are maybe a bit too weird, a bit too like favor certain characters. Like, for example, that desert stage with Lion. I know that's a thing. I will find footage of that and put that in the video if I can, with people just getting a lead with Lion, just running away on that stage. Like, stuff like that is stuff that people just don't want to deal with in this modern day and age. Maybe back in the day they did, but that is just like the dumb stuff of this game. That like the dumbness of simply stages. This is not even like anything to do with characters really. It's just what the stages allow the characters to do in this game that is completely dumb. So yeah, that was a bit of a shorter one than the other previous strats, but I just wanted to show it because this game is not really talked about a lot in the Western FGC. So yeah, with that said, let's move on to the next strat. So for the final strat of today, we are going to be talking about Kirby in 2 Smash games. The first one we're going to be talking about is his iteration in Super Smash Bros. 64, the very first Smash game. Now, this character is notorious in this game. He's the second best character in the game. The best character is Pikachu, but Pikachu is significantly harder to play. I don't think he's like super hard to play, but nothing compares to this guy, how easy he is. Like, when Pikachu is not that difficult of a character to play, and he's still considered significantly harder than this character, it shows how easy he is. So why is this character so easy? What is so good about this character? About Kirby in this game? Well, if I get Mario down here and get him just to like, you just stand there, just to see this move. Hold on, this move. It's a pretty fast move, you know. It looks like it's got not great range, it's like, you know, whatever. And it's a combo move, so you do this, so you like... So you do that, and you go like that, and you can combo them. But there's something off about this move. There's something a bit odd. So you can see here, yeah, obviously you'd expect that to hit, right? You'd expect that Mario being standing there to hit. So let's go a little bit further back. Okay, that's got some range, I guess. It goes a little bit beyond what the foot. I did that not expecting that to hit. Let me just show you. Let me just like spill the beans, and if I can just get into fucking... Wow, the game was really impressed that he got back from that. Let me just spill the beans. Look, this is gonna hit him right here. You see that? And he died. You see the absurdity of the hitbox. It's massive. This move is like, the hitbox on it is like twice the size of his body. Like, it's like insane. If I push Mario over here and get him, like, say Kirby stands here. I think this is all guaranteed. Well, not. Well, apart from that, all of that was guaranteed. 68% from just landing this move. Oh, thanks, Mario. And that is like the gist of why Kirby, not just this move, but he just has massive hitboxes. His down there is insane. Like, super, super fast. Like, does insane amounts of damage. Does an insane spike at the end of it as well. If I get him off stage, I can show this. He is... And look at that. That just, like, sent him so far down. Edge guarding in this game is super, super good, because most characters' recovery is not super good. Hit stun is super long, and DI is not a thing in this game yet. So combos are just insanely long, and the fact that Kirby has this insanely easy combo starter, just being able to just combo things forever, basically. And then just like, you know, that's it, he's dead. And just combo forever, and have easy combo starts and easy ways to get back. He's a character with multiple jumps. He's one of the few characters who actually does not have a completely unusable recovery in this game. The other being Pikachu. So that is basically why Kirby is so good in this game. He is absolutely just very simply insane. Like, he's got big hitboxes, like absolutely massive hitboxes that just you know, go on forever. Just like no characters have a move like this. But the developers of this game, Masahiro Sakurai, was very aware of the strength of this character. So when he went to make the next Smash game, Kirby just got completely gutted in Super Smash Bros. Melee, the next Smash game. And let me just show you why. So of course this move's hitbox is... First of all, the move is way slower. Holy... This move is terrible in this game. Oh my god, how slow is that? And the hitbox is obviously much like that would hit in Smash 64. If I go a little bit closer... Okay, that hits. It has significantly less knockback. They can DI out of this. This is not a combo, really. Well, it might be. But, yeah, this character got significantly worse. His run speed is significantly worse. His air speed in Melee was actually, in Smash 64, was actually really good, and it allowed him to get back to the stage. But his airspeed in this game is miserable. It is so terrible. And that really hinders his ability to get back to the stage, because he's just so slow and so exploitable. His up B is really slow. It goes basically nowhere. And they basically just completely gutted this character, and there are certain things with this character that are usable. So, for example, his back hair is pretty good. He's got some pretty good aerials, although it's nowhere near as fast. Like, you can't really... it's alright, you can cancel it a little bit, but... Like, it's nowhere... Like, he can do some combos, especially against characters like Fox. He can, like, you know... Like, if he gets into a little bit of a higher percent, see, like, here, he can do like that, and then get into back air. And then fuck up the edge guard. But, you know what I mean. You can, like, get him to a reasonably high percent, and then, like, just edge guard him pretty well. I keep forgetting that it's not roaring in this game. And then you can just do stuff like that. And then kill him. It's pretty basic. He's got decent edge guarding, but, like, there are some things with this character that are just so terrible. For example, this is side B on the ground. This side B, this is actually a new addition in Melee. Smash 64 did not have side specials. So this is a completely new addition in Melee. It's not a very good move. Like, it does 23% uncharged. You can't charge it in this game, but it's just very slow. It's very unsafe. And in the air, it has this is a completely unique animation. This never made it back to any other Smash game. This specific animation for Kirby, just you see how weak that is. He's at 70. It did nothing. This move is unsafe on hit. I'm guaranteeing you, this move is completely unsafe on hit. Like this move does nothing for Kirby. It's a useless move. It's already not good on the ground, but this move just has... The hitbox is just so weak that it's like... He's at 130, he's going nowhere. What is this supposed to do? I don't understand what the point of this move is. Like, why do they add this in? It doesn't... It's not... Does it have, like... I mean, he goes up a little bit when he uses it. Like... Yeah, he goes up a little bit, but he doesn't really need that. He's got multiple jumps. It's like, what's it look like on the ground? You can't even do a landing aerial with it. You can't even see how good the landing lag is because it just makes you go upwards for no reason. This move is terrible. This move is like... And it's so laggy. I was trying to jump the entire time. Look how laggy this is. I'm jumping. It took so long. Oh my god. This move is terrible. You can't even use it as like a weird edge guard. You can't even use it, say they're off stage and to do that because you... Look how long it takes. Wow. That is... I didn't know that about that move. That is so bad. And some other things with this character that are also really bad is his throw game. Now, this throw, both of his throws actually, he has this forward throw and his back throw. It has this like special animation where he actually grabs you and like moves you around the stage in a certain way. That's not very, that's quite unique in this game, where usually you grab someone and you throw them, and it's just kind of like you throw them in a direction and they go in that direction and that's it. But this game, Kirby has this where he grabs you and he goes up in the air and holds you up there, and like it's very different. And it actually has unique properties near the edge of the stage. If we don't have stage for him to knock you down onto, and we do this move like here, I didn't expect him to mash out. I thought he was just gonna sit there, and I was going to explain the move to you. I was going to explain, it's a move that suicides. It's a move that you can use it if you're at the edge of the stage. You can use it to kill you and the opponent at the same time, and it's like a suicide move. It's very like good at higher levels, but okay, he didn't break out of that one though. So that's an example of how you'd use the move. But as you saw there with the forward throw, you can do this with the back throw as well. You can just mash out the throw completely. You can just... That is not a thing that you can do with Kirby in any other game. You can't mash out of that throw ever. It's only in this game they gave you the ability to mash out of the throw, basically completely for free. And it just kills Kirby. If Kirby ever uses this throw near the corner and your opponent knows that you can just mash out the throw, see, look, you can just kill him. He just dies. And it's the same thing with the back throw. Maybe I can get him to do the back throw. One. And I've not even set the AI to do anything. The AI is just doing it on its own. Okay, it's not really doing it for the back throw, but you can do it for the back throw. So it makes those two throws completely useless. Because this throw is actually a combo throw, kind of. Well, in later Smash games, it's a combo throw. But I think at higher percent it might be. So yeah, that would work. But, like, the fact that you can just mash out the throw means it doesn't do anything. These 2 throws are completely useless throws, so you have to just do this and then go for the sec chase, which is actually a decent situation. You might be able to, like, you know, take... Well, actually, no, it just sort of gets up. You have, like, a billion lag. Yeah, this character is just so terrible in this game. He's just so unbelievably slow in a game where every character that's really good is so fast. He's just so... His airspeed is atrocious. He can't get back to the stage. His combos are very, like, particular. He has to land specific moves into back air to do anything. His specials are terrible. He has, like... This move is, like, terrible. This move, that was 120. It sent him nowhere, and that's Fox. He's, like, a pretty light character. Like, he's not dead at 140 with no DI. Like, that shows you how terrible this character is. His up B has very little range. Does almost nothing. His only good move is back air, really. That's his only good move, to be honest. He has no other good moves. His down air is so slow. Look at that. Compare that to how it was in Smash 64. And it, like... Yeah, it does nothing. It has such a slow hitbox. His nair sends you nowhere. His forward air is just so... Like, it's alright, actually. I think it's forward air. Let me show you the forward air. Yeah, it's alright, but it's a multi-hit move, and multi-hit moves in this game are generally pretty inconsistent. His tilts are alright, but they just don't have a lot of range. This kind of started off the problem that Kirby has had in every Smash game, where his moves are really good. His moves are actually very solid and very high damaging, very comboable. They do a lot of damage, they can combo into each other very well. But the problem is just, he's very slow and he has no range. So you can just run away from him. And in other Smash games, later ones specifically, he has more that he can do. He's not completely useless, but he is, like, you know, pretty just... He's Kirby, you know, he's slow and he is small, he doesn't have much range, he doesn't really do a lot. He's kind of a gimmicky character. You just see people doing this every day and just spamming that. But even in this game, that strat's not very good. But in this game, he's just... Compared to everyone else, he's just so terrible. He has... His throws don't work, his side B just, like, has no hitbox. You can't charge it. He has no safety on block. He's just a terrible character. They completely gutted him. And it's just in ways that are just so silly. Like, it's just so, like, this move. Honestly, for the fact he has that move alone, he gets a 10% of the dumb gauge. That's it. He gets 10% on the dumb gauge. Smash 64 Kirby got like 90 to 100% on the dumb gauge. Actually, I would give it a full 100. The fact that move up tilt is just so ridiculous. Hits on the ground, just fucking massive hitbox. Insane edge guarding, super easy to play, easiest character to play in the world. That gets 100%, but this goes down to 10% on the dumb gauge. This is a terrible character. I cannot believe how terribly they nerfed him in this game. It is so funny. And this jab is awful as well. This character is terrible. So yeah, that's going to be the video, I think. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. I tried to show a bit more of a range of strategies this time around instead of just all really good stuff. I tried to show a range of like really good stuff, stuff that's okay, stuff that's really degenerate, and stuff that's actually core to the game, and also stuff that's kind of like not like dumb because it's not very good. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to see more, hit the like button in the comments. Hit the like button in the comments below. You can do that if you want, but comment, say what dumb strats you want to see, what your favorite dumb strat was. And yeah, thanks to patrons on Patreon, including my anonymous patron. Everyone on Patreon, they are absolutely amazing. They keep supporting what I do. It's absolutely incredible. So yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Yeah, that's the video. Bye.